Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Rips, aka your favorite YouTuber's favorite YouTuber. Ooh, mama, do I have a video for you guys today? Today's video is gonna be best anime. Oh my god, the stutter is crazy. But best anime fights of each year from 2011 to 2021. 2022 isn't over yet, so that's probably why they didn't say 2022. They probably make a new one when 2022 is over, clearly. But you guys know the anime videos are the best on my channel, like by far. Like as a whole, they are the best on my channel. So I bring these to you guys. I love watching anime, even though I be slacking on it. But anyways, this video is 20 minutes long, so I'm not gonna waste too much of your time. Leave a like, helps the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. We're on the road to 2,000 subscribers, and put in that post notification bell so you guys don't miss any uploads. Like I said, we upload 4 videos a fucking week. Comment down below what you guys want to react to the next one. I'm not gonna waste too much of your time. Let's get into this shit. Alright, so we got the videos right here. Best anime fights of each year, 2011 to 2021. Full screen, volume is all the way up. Let's get it, man. Actually, let me check something before we actually get in and make sure this shit is right, my OBS. I'm sorry, guys. I just gotta make sure everything good. Alright, we Gucci. So let's get it, man. My bad. I probably don't know half of these animes because you know me.
Well, that didn't take too long, did it? I had so much fun writing my decade in review for action anime that I decided, why not do something similar again? I'm glad that you seem to have generally enjoyed the video, and I'm very happy for the feedback and suggestions I received. However, instead of going over to the next genre, I wanted to put a bit of a twist on this one. I've got a strong feeling that I'll keep going back to this format soon, so I've decided to push the other genres to the side for now and focus on a staple of a lot of action anime.
Yes, sir. I love fights,
You guys love fights, and the stats back that up. So for today, I'll be going over what I feel are the best anime fights to occur in a particular year over the past decade. As usual, the decision's going to be subjective, but I'll try to find the most generalist.
So don't be in the comments saying Rips.
And if I happen to overlook something, don't be afraid to notify me in the comments section. I'll also limit the winners to 1 per series to keep the entries as diverse as possible.
Okay.
Consider this a
compliment to the previous
video on best action anime of the decade. As always, please hit the subscribe button to help the channel grow.
Fire Force right there.
Doesn't take too long, and your contribution is always greatly appreciated. 2011.
Let's see.
As we close the book on a decade of anime action, fights herald the dawn of a new era. 2011 for me will always be known as the year of Steins Gate and Madoka Magica.
I never watched any of them,
previous video. The latter in particular is a perpetual favorite of mine, and the battle between Homura and Walpurgis Night feels like a strong contender in terms of its narrative importance and how over the top it was. In the previous video, the best action anime came down to Fate Zero and Hunter x Hunter, and they brought their awesome fights too. However, I'd like to talk about how 2011 sets the bookends for some legacy series that were pushing strong from the decade prior. Alucard finally had his much-awaited showdown with Anderson, and it's every bit as intense and violent as we expect something from Hellsing to be. Still, if we look at legacy and narrative importance, I think that few can beat out my pick for the year. Ichigo
tell me your top.
versus Aizen.
Yo, I still gotta watch Bleach, bro.
Ichigo and Aizen in his nth evolution collided in a clash that marked the end of an era for one of the most beloved shonen of the 2000s. It's also a notable fight in that it functions more as a flex for Ichigo, who surpassed whatever evolution Aizen could have. For the first time, the smug villain finally found a foe beyond his comprehension after spending literal months just trouncing everything thrown at him. Yeah, I'm aware that Bleach as an anime continued past this arc, but for a lot of fans, I mean, that was really it. This was the final battle and climax that they'd all been waiting for, and we finally saw Aizen defeated after almost a decade.
Almost a decade.
2012.
Let's see.
Remember when I mentioned Fate Zero a while ago?
Fate Zero, bro.
The show ran all the way to 2012 for your info.
A lot of you guys told me to watch Fate Zero. I react to a bunch of these anime fights, and Fate Zero is always in this bitch for the animation. I'm gonna watch it. Don't get on me.
And that's why my personal favorite fight from the series qualifies for 2012 and will be taking the crown. Rider versus Gilgamesh? No, I personally find myself leaning more towards Kiritsugu versus Kirei. What I like about this fight is the fact that it's not about the
one I reacted to.
It's not about the huge armies or the walls of
swords that
relate to the Fate series. It's how down and dirty the two got, and I feel like it encapsulates what sets Fate Zero apart compared to the rest of the franchise. 2012 is also when another epic fight, Gon versus Hisoka, took place.
I love Hunter x Hunter, bro.
It's one of the best underdog fights out there in anime, and I hope that you'll take a look at it.
Bing, bing.
have a
I
lot of
love it. If
honorable
you ain't
mentions
watched
off the
Hunter
top
x
of my
Hunter,
head
watch it,
for
bro.
this year, honestly. This year has a lot of good action shows, but few really had that level of oomph that made them stand out. Since 2012's when the SAO craze hit town, I guess we can consider the Glee Mice fight here. It is pretty damn iconic after all.
Damn.
2013.
2013.
We all know that 2013 is
Attack
Attack
on
on Titan's
Titan.
year. In terms of
Shit's
sheer
still not
influence,
done, bro.
None of the shows this year can compare to it. The female Titan arc is an emotional roller coaster, and the Eren versus female Titan fight was a great way to cap off the series.
That's fact, bro. Oh!
Psycho Pass also gave us Gogami versus Makishima. It's such an amazingly choreographed battle, and it would be a shame not to give it the spotlight here. Whereas Ippo versus Sawamura didn't have quite that same amount of choreography, it more than makes up for it with intensity and hype. And if you're up for more magical elements and one-man army
Madara,
fights,
bro.
this is the year Madara
Madara
wrecked the Shinobi
smoked
Alliance.
all of them.
But none of those are my winners for this year.
Oh,
That's
shit.
because this is the year where Madoka Rebellion came out, and along with it came a fight that at the time pushed the
Yo.
limits of action sequences in an anime feature film production. Yes, I'm talking about Homura versus Mami.
I've never seen this shit. But this
The
shit look
famed gunfight
clean.
that people still remember Rebellion for almost a decade later. Excellent cinematography helped push a full fight of momentum shifts into legendary status. And the moment I saw
Jesus
this fight,
Christ.
it was going to make it to one of these lists someday. 2014.
2014.
If you remember my video on action anime, you'd know that 2014 is also quite the busy year for action anime. Lots of big hitters spread all around the year, giving us a healthy selection.
Yo, let me know
Starting
what your
off, we
favorite
have
anime is down
Noragami's
below.
Final Battle, which feels like a modern take on Rurouni Kenshin Arc's climax. I'm not fond of how Rabo got defeated, but the context of the fight
Damn,
gives
bro.
it enough emotional weight. For those who were looking for Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works in said video, I did hold back on mentioning it due to my self-imposed sequel clause. I considered it a sequel to Fate Zero. With me shifting to series clause this time, it's fully legible for a top spot on this list. Well, the Kuzuki fight looks very
Nah,
inviting,
Fate
but
is so
Unlimited
fire,
Blade
bro.
Works wouldn't hit its peak this year,
I'm gonna watch
so let's
it,
just
bro.
have it waiting
The
on the
animation
back
is just
burner
so
for
fire.
now.
It's just
Agami
that
God Kill
CGI
also
shit, bro.
aired this year. Apologies to the fans for missing out on my other video, but it's about time for it to make an appearance here. Akame versus Kurome is one of my favorite sibling
Kama
fights
got
in
killed,
anime
bro.
overall. Ez Death versus Akame was
If y'all
one
didn't
epic
know, I think Akame Got Killed was my first anime I watched. I think so. I'm not considering Dragon Ball and stuff. Like everybody watched Dragon Ball. I'm not considering, but my first real anime, I think Akame Got Killed was the first one that I watched. Then I went to Naruto, I think that's what it went.
fight as well, and that's exactly why
Or
I feel it
Death Note,
deserves
one
a
of them.
mention here.
This bitch Akame is fucking broken.
As a side note, the Naruto final arc rages on through this year, giving us one of its best fights in not just Shippuden, but the entire series. Obito versus Kakashi. Their fates finally collide in this climactic battle, brilliantly capping off one of the most intriguing and captivating backstory feuds in the franchise.
Literally.
That's all because 2014 is when we got the famed Netero versus
This
Meruem
fight
battle in Hunter x Hunter.
Clean,
If you
bro.
were to ask me to pick the best fight from Hunter x Hunter, this would
This
be it.
has to be the best fight
Of
on
course,
Hunter
I'm
x
not
Hunter,
just
bro.
reducing the series' appeal to just fights, but in terms of a spectacle itself, I
This
do
shit
find
was
this one hard to
animation,
top. If I look back
fight
at the
scenes
series,
clean, bro.
some fights, like the famous one with Adult Gon, come close to the level of epicness, but the appeal from those fights come from somewhere else, like the context. If you're looking at just choreography and plain anime
Literally.
body, along with a dramatic conclusion, Netero versus Meruem is where it's at. 2015.
2015,
As I said in
almost
the
there.
action anime video, this is the year of One Punch Man, and rightfully so. It steps up to the plate for what I think is the fight of the year, the battle between Saitama and Boros. In terms of the sheer spectacle and the
The nigga
over-the-top
wasn't
appeal,
trying.
not a lot of fights from this year come to mind. It's also the climax of what was the year's most influential anime, so it does deserve the spot in my opinion. And it's a shame because this is also the year when my favourite battle in the Fate Stay Night UBW happened. Archer versus Shiro is so strong thematically. The way
A
the
lot of
fight
fake shit
turned
on
out,
this, I
as well
see.
as the masterful placement of Last Stardust, creates one of my favourite moments in 2015. Alas,
Look
my
at the
praise is
animations,
runner-up
bro.
because Fate
Just
has
look
an
at
even
it.
better looking and bigger fight lined up later. Spoilers, I guess. Dio and Jotaro also had
I
their
still
iconic
gotta watch
battle this
JoJo's.
year, a fight that will
Fuck.
send shockwaves and memes
I just be
through the
losing
JoJo
track of how many
universe for
animes I
years
gotta
to come.
watch, bro.
For niche picks, I do give honorable mentions to Alfonso versus Leon from Garo and Kei's Misaki versus Saruhiko. Both are underrated shows that you might want to check out.
Nah, that's fact.
2016.
2016.
2016 is a landmark year for anime. After its long, storied run, Naruto finally came to an end and gave us the final battle that we've all been clamoring
that's
for.
a fact.
Naruto versus Sasuke, for me, is the only proper way for the series to close its book. The two, now in their peak form after more than a decade of history, have their destined showdown. And it ended beautifully too, with a virtual tie where Sasuke eventually admits defeat.
Man,
It's not
Naruto
about the
should
physical
have
battle,
followed him,
but
bro.
the emotional one here, guys.
Naruto's stronger than Sasuke. We all know this, man. Cut the shit, bro.
My fight for the year goes on in a similar tangent. Bitter rivals and friends turned enemies Gintoki and
Gintoki, I gotta
Takasugi
watch
had
this
one
too.
hell of a battle in 2016, and that's my pick for this year's best fight.
Damn.
Why? Well, personally, I felt more emotional investment in this fight. Yeah, Gintama's not as popular as Naruto, generally
fact.
speaking, but in terms of how the emotions of the fighters got conveyed in this fight, this is just on a whole nother level. It's also not just the fighters throwing big fireballs or overpowered plot armor bombs at each other.
They're throwing
I'm not sure
hands
how popular of an opinion that is,
and swords.
but Gintoki versus Takasugi takes the history and big fight feel that Naruto versus Sasuke has and grounds it into a more realistic and artistic form. If we're just looking at animation, however, I
Mob
definitely
Psycho.
go to Mob dismantling Theru or Mob versus Koyama. Unfortunately, the fight just didn't have the emotional investment or
That's
the
true.
history for me to declare it the winner over the Gintama fight. Oh yeah, this year also saw My Hero Academia's debut, but frankly, none of the early fights are that impressive, relatively speaking, for
That's
now.
fact.
Closest contender I could think of would be All Might versus Nomu. 2017.
2017.
However, in 2017, My Hero Academia took it up a notch, giving us its best fight up until that point. Midoriya versus Todoroki.
Midoriya.
I also found Todoroki to be the more likable rival to Midoriya. Yeah,
Todoroki's
Bakugo
fire,
has the
bro.
history and all of that.
No
but
pun
as far
intended.
as fellow heroes whose stories Midoriya likewise plays a big role in, Todoroki is the man. I really loved how his ideologies collide with Midoriya, and this fight encapsulates that.
Yeah, this shit was so
Black
fire
Clover
watching
also
it.
got its start this year, but it's the definition of a late bloomer. At this point of its run, it's mostly meme fodder, which I feel is a huge disservice actually. A lot of the most epic moments and fights in the series are stowed away in the latter episodes and arcs, so those of you who are fans of the series will just have to wait a little longer now, okay?
Literally,
Oh,
bro.
and SAO Ordinal Scale came out, and along with it came the pinnacle of SAO fights.
That's
the
the way.
great boss battle in the film's climax is the epic finale we never got for the series proper's Aincrad arc. For this year, I give
Damn.
the title to a shonen great that somehow reinvigorated itself somewhere in this decade. Yes,
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Super.
Dragon Ball
takes the title
Super?
with its amazing Goku
Nah.
versus Jiren fight.
That fight, when it first dropped, I was absolutely fucking stunned, bro. Because I was watching Dragon Ball Super episode by episode every week. Or waiting on Friday or Saturday for that episode to drop at 2 o'clock in the morning, bro. Seeing this fight was just amazing, bro. Literally
Now, I don't know about
goosebumps.
you, but I would call this a candidate for the most intense fight we've covered in the list so far.
Literally, bro.
This is the one
Like, the
with
shit,
Super Saiyan.
I'm sorry for pausing, but this shit had the emotion from Vegeta saying, Kakarot, that's now TikTok sound, y'all know what I'm talking about, to the gods just looking at Goku with different ways. This shit was just perfect, bro. And the way it was
Blue
set up,
and
bro,
Ultra Instinct for
crazy.
those who've been following the series, and it pretty much shows us the heart of the Dragon Ball that 90s kids have loved.
Literally, bro.
Long, drawn-out fights and twists and turns after every false finish.
And Goku
if
just
I
being
remember
a god,
correctly,
stronger
it
and
even
stronger.
crashed the Crunchyroll website. Now that's something you don't see often.
see what I'm talking about?
2018.
Hold on, before we go to 2018, I'm gonna change my camera. Like, yeah, I saw a comment yesterday saying it's not a risk video if his camera not dying. That's a fact, my nigga. You right. I gotta change it right now. Hold on. All right, guys, we're back. 2018. We got a couple more years to go, so let's get it.
Let me get this out of the way as quickly as I can. Goku vs. Jiren Round 2.
Round 2?
Featuring the iconic perfect form of Ultra Instinct took place this
Oh,
year. Now I still
this
feel
one.
that the first fight slightly edges out the second one in terms of the actual fighting and hype behind it. Seven Deadly Sins also had its blaze of glory here with the exciting Meliodas vs. Commandments fight. A fitting end before the animation went to hell and it became meme fodder. But I still
Meme
wish
fodder.
the next season's got way more love. It feels bad on how they wasted Meliodas versus Escanor with that travesty of an adaptation.
I didn't even watch this, but I saw this shit. It was just
My Hero
whatever,
Academia
bro.
also reached what I feel is a good endpoint for a chunk of the story, with One For All and All Might clashing after years of build-up. The hype is completely justified here, and it serves as a fitting closure to the world of My Hero Academia that we started with. The landscape and the name of the game completely changed from that point onward, and that episode is worth a watch even for that fight alone. None of those, though, won the Fight of the Year in 2018. The winner? That's the Momoshiki.
This fight was
Boruto may
clean,
have
bro.
its whole slew of criticisms, but for a moment, the Sasuke and Naruto versus
This shit was
Momoshiki
beautiful, bro.
fight made me forget about a lot of those. Hey, I can't
This is the
help
only
it,
fight I
can
watched from
Seeing the
Boruto.
two legends of the previous series
Besides,
come together and
what's his
kick
name?
ass
Ijin
once
or whatever
again
his
brought
name
the
is?
kid out in me, and I couldn't help but immerse myself in the battle. Even after stepping back and looking at it from a more objective perspective, the fight does still hold up. It's a joy to watch with how their powers and chemistry with each other have developed through time.
Nah, that shit was super clean. If y'all ain't watch that, just go watch
If I were
that
to
fight.
talk about 2019, I'd be talking about a lot of things.
Vinland Saga,
Favorite
baby.
fights there are plenty, and I
Demon
could spend
Slayer.
an entire day talking about them. Maybe I could go for one of Mob's Season 2
Mob.
beautifully animated fights, or that time Levi gave us a masterclass on how to pivot a monumental sacrifice into pure, methodical destruction. We've also got
That
the
fight was
climax of the
beautiful.
Luffy versus Katakuri fight this year, which easily was one of my favorite fights in One Piece. The Heaven's Feel movies are also screening around about this time, and they really did the Saber versus Berserker fight justice. Speaking of fate, Babylonia still hasn't ended its run at this point, but we already got a very good fight in Gorgon versus Ushiwakamaru, as well as the Quetzalcoatl fight. But that's not what we're here for now, is it, right? We all know you're here for the single most influential fight in anime history,
Show me, nigga.
in my opinion, which of course is Tanjiro versus Rui. It pretty much sets the bar for TV
yeah,
anime
give it to
fights
them.
with how much it enhanced what was already a goosebump-inducing moment in the manga. Ufotable made magic happen, and if you're still on the fence about me calling this one of the most influential fights in anime history, then let me ask you this question. Where else did an anime fight break the internet so much
Literally,
that
bro.
it turned an
I have
anime with
this.
decent
I have a memory.
personality into
I have a memory on Snapchat because I sent it to my friend because I saw this shit. I was like, yo, what the fuck? And
the
then,
sensation of the
whatever.
year overnight. It's still arguable, but in my experience, never had I seen that phenomenon before Demon Slayer. Not an event, not a plot twist, but a fight. A fight that was
bro.
able to catapult its series into never-before-seen heights. I mean, that's just unheard of. If we're going with
Everybody
influence in the
says
community
the
combined
animation
with
Demon
the
Slayer
animation
is
and a bit of
carrying.
context,
I don't know about
there's
that,
little
though.
doubt that Demon Slayer takes the crown. 2020.
2020, one
So
more year
Demon
left.
Slayer fever was in full swing in 2020,
Rengoku.
and with it comes the winner of 2020's Fight of the Year, Shiro and Ryder versus Saber Alter. At this
Yo,
point, we're being
I saw the
desensitized to
clips of this
spectacular
shit, too.
fight choreography and effect. You can blame Ufotable for that. Fights of this quality have become so
Ufotable,
normalized
bro.
now that this one deserves a special mention for how it finally put Shiro and Ryder's strategy against Saber's sheer unmatched power, as seen in the previous movies. We also get to see Ryder go all out, which is a treat because the poor servant has been a glorified jobber in other routes. On the side of TV anime, we have the attention-catching Gleipnir fight that allowed the show to start off with some momentum for such a niche title. FGO also ended with a Tiamat fight and a barrage of noble phantasms that shattered my
This shit is
expectations
deadass.
for a mobile
Making
game
me hype.
adaptation.
I might watch some anime
If there's
right
one
after
thing
this
that
shit,
God
bro.
of High School is really
Respectfully.
good for, it's just a showcase of fights.
God of High School,
Heck,
bro.
the running joke is that this series is just fight after
It
fight
is.
after fight. And while I lean towards agreeing with that, at least the guys behind the production committee did the fights pretty competently.
Nah, God of High School, the pacing was just too fast. But the anime fight, the fights they have are fire, bro. Like the pacing, I feel it was a little bit slower and they spaced it out a little bit more. Cause one episode you fighting somebody, you don't learn about the characters. But this fight here was fucking godly, bro. He's literally a god in this fight, bro.
Chinese anime fights like the often featured Fog Hill fights and the Hitori no Shito ones also debuted here. More on those on my old video that you can access up there. Overall, 2020 has been a great year for fights
Literally.
despite the delays and other real-life circumstances that should have hampered production.
Because of COVID.
2021.
2021, let's see.
We've finally reached the present. Congratulations. There's quite a lot to be said for 2021, so let's get some of the honorable
Let me see
mentions
this
out of the
shit.
way. After showcasing its worth through a lot of epic battles and hype moments, Black Clover goes out with a
Okay,
bang
Black
of a
Clover.
final arc.
I'll give
the
you
fight
that.
led to that arc, Asta and Yami versus Dante, and it's every bit as cool as fans made it out to be. Naruto and Sasuke also team up again,
This
and
is
this
the part
time
I
in a
was talking
far
about.
less successful battle against Jigen. However,
Jigen, that
this
was
got the
his name.
shonen community buzzing again, and I find it funny yet sad that one of the only times Boruto seems to gain this amount of traction are when the legacy characters are involved in a big way.
Literally, bro.
I also gave Vivi the nod for Action Anime of the Year, and I can say that the
Woo!
whole Diva vs. Yugo segment does deserve a mention. Gintama ended this year with Gintama the Final Movie. It gave us Gintoki versus Utsuro, another amazing fight with a lot of emotional weight. Man, I'm gonna miss that
Damn.
series so much. Once I look at the year, however, I think that I can
Show me the
safely give the
fucking
crown
fight,
to
my nigga.
Hanami versus Yuji and Todo. Move over, you for
That's a fact.
Mappa's ready to step up.
This is the best fucking fight I've fucking watched. I'm not gonna say ever, but this fight, for all the clapping, fire, my nigga. I'm telling you, fire, bro. Fire, bro.
And while it felt difficult to choose amongst the numerous masterfully crafted fights
This
of
shit was
Jujutsu
perfected.
Kaisen, I gave this fight the win. Why? It feels like the one with the most hype behind it. Sure, Gojo broke the internet to
Yeah,
a lesser
Gojo
extent.
broken as
Yeah,
usual.
Nanami and Megumi both got to show off their cool stuff. Even Nobara got to show off her sadistic
Yeah.
and dangerous side. However, if you look at context and what the fights mean for the protagonist, seeing the master-student tandem of Yuji and Todo team up against the big boss is
Give me the
such
clap.
a joy. And that's a wrap.
That's
It's
a
been
fact,
a decade
bro. I'll
of
give it to
epic
them, man.
anime fights, and the cool thing about this is that I barely touched the tip of the iceberg.
Literally.
I'm sure that lost in the shuffle are countless hidden gems, and I'd ask you to introduce me to some of them. So, how did you find this video?
Yo.
If you liked it, hit the like button
Alright,
and tell
man.
me in the comments.
Fire shit, bro. I love it, bro. Yo, if you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like. If you guys want more anime shit, let me know. I don't mind watching the shit. Just don't be mad at me because I didn't watch the shit. You get what I'm saying? Because I'm just so behind on anime. I'll watch anime for like 4 months in a row, then stop for a whole year, then watch it again. Repeat the cycle, bro. That's just me. I don't know why, but I'm sorry. I was supposed to watch Fullmetal Alchemist last night. I didn't watch it. I'm just bad. But yeah, if you guys want more anime shit, let me know. I will react to these shits. I love watching this shit. You guys clearly like watching this shit. Regardless, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, post notification about all that good stuff. But your boy versus Son out here. So I'm gonna see you guys when I see you guys. Peace.
Man down, you could get ran down. I got the bands now. She let me fuck, she a fan now. If you get hit, better stay down. Know they be broke, but they stay loud. We don't grow up from the same ground. They on the ground for the fame now.